Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving headfirst into something that can feel, well, kind of like a maze: business improvement. We're going to cut through all the noise, navigate the twists and turns, and figure out what actually drives success.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? Lean, Six Sigma, TQM, it's this whole alphabet soup of jargon. If you've ever felt totally lost in that jungle of buzzwords, trust me, you are definitely not alone.
So that's our mission today. We're going to, metaphorically speaking, grab a machete and cut a nice, clear path right through all that confusion. The goal? To get to the heart of what really, truly delivers breakthrough results. All right, so first up, let's get a little context. To really get where we're going with this, we've got to look at where all this stuff came from. None of these ideas just popped up overnight, you know? They were all part of this huge, decades-long race for quality and efficiency.
This timeline really tells a story, doesn't it? It all kicks off way back in the 50s with W. Edwards Deming. He basically taught Japan all about statistical quality control, and, well, they ran with it. Fast forward to the 80s, and suddenly US companies like Motorola are scrambling to catch up. And that's where Six Sigma comes from. Then, not long after, everyone's amazed by the Toyota production system, and it gets a catchy new name in the West: Lean. See the pattern? It's like a domino effect. Each one is a reaction to the last.
So let's start with TQM, Total Quality Management. This was really the big one that started it all. It was this huge cultural shift that got the Western world obsessed with quality. And the idea was super simple but powerful. Quality is everyone's job. From the top floor to the shop floor, the ultimate goal is a happy customer.
Okay, and then things get intense. Motorola comes out with Six Sigma. Think of it like TQM on steroids, but with a ton of math. The goal was basically perfection. We're talking less than 3.4 defects for every million opportunities. I mean, that's just a crazy small number. It was all about using data to make everything super predictable and super controlled.
And of course, we have Lean. This is basically the West take on what Toyota was doing so brilliantly. The focus here shifts a little bit. It's all about one thing: relentlessly hunting down and eliminating waste. And waste is anything that doesn't add value to the customer. It's like doing a constant spring cleaning for your entire process to make it faster and cheaper.
So, you've got all these super smart, powerful ideas. You'd think companies would just be crushing it left and right? Well, about that. Let's peel back the hype and look at what actually happened.
Okay, check this out. Motorola, the poster child for Six Sigma, claimed it saved, wait for it, $16 billion. With a B. I mean, with a number like that, of course, every other company on the planet was like, yep, we need to do that.
But here's where the story takes a weird turn. Because despite saving $16 billion, just a few years later, Motorola went on to lose $4.3 billion. And then the company got split up. So, wait, what? How does that even compute? You save all that money and then the whole thing falls apart? It just doesn't make sense.
And that's the thing, Motorola wasn't some weird one-off. This quote here really nails it. Across pretty much every industry, there were just tons of these disappointments. The reality just wasn't living up to the big promises.
So what went wrong? Well, it seems companies started focusing on the wrong thing. They fell in love with the methodology itself, not the actual business results. It became all about getting those green belt and black belt certifications, kind of like collecting trophies. They were just throwing tools at every problem, hoping that in a few years something magical would happen. Spoilers, it usually didn't.
Okay, so this brings us to a totally different way of looking at the problem. Out of all that disappointment, a much simpler and frankly more powerful idea started to catch on. It wasn't about doing more stuff, it was about doing the one right thing.
And that idea is called the theory of constraints, or TOC. And honestly, its core concept is just genius in its simplicity. It says that in any system, doesn't matter if it's a factory line or your morning commute, there is always one single thing that's holding everything else up: the bottleneck.
And the process is just as simple. Step 1, find that bottleneck. Find the one thing that's slowing the whole train down. Step 2, forget everything else and focus all your energy, all of it, on breaking that one constraint. And step 3, once it's fixed, you find the new bottleneck and you do it all over again. It's this super focused, relentless cycle of improvement.
So this is where it gets really interesting. What if you took the laser focus of the theory of constraints and you combined it with all those powerful tools from Lean and Six Sigma? Well, you'd get a whole new playbook.
And that's exactly what this is. Think of it like a simple equation.
The focus from TOC tells you where to work, and the tools from Lean and Six Sigma tell you how to work. It's not about choosing one over the other, it's about making them work together for a massive impact.
And this really breaks down the difference. The old way? It was all about the methodology, about applying tools everywhere and hoping for the best. The new, integrated way? It's all about the outcome. You're not just spraying solutions all over the place, you're using them like a surgeon's scalpel, right on the one spot that matters, the constraint. And the goal isn't a piece of paper for your wall, it's to create a blue ocean, a wide open market where you basically have no competition.
So, let's bring this all home. Because this isn't really about adopting yet another new methodology. No, it's about fundamentally changing how you think about improvement itself.
I absolutely love this quote. Don't blame the hammer when using it to try to drive in a screw. It's perfect, right? Lean and Six Sigma are fantastic hammers, but so many companies failed because they were trying to use a hammer on everything, even when the problem was clearly a screw. The tool was never the problem. It was always about using the right tool for the right job.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Forget about blindly following a system or collecting certificates. What really matters is having a framework for focus. Find that one thing, the one thing that's holding you back the most, and put all your effort there. That's how you get real, lasting change.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Just for a minute, forget all the fancy terms and buzzwords we talked about. Just ask yourself, what is the one constraint in your business, or even just in your daily work, that if you could solve it, would change absolutely everything? Whatever your answer is, well, that's your starting point.